Hello again, Stroke Up. Welcome back to another day of streaming. Well, I'm gonna have to add it. It's not picking up my game. It's just not picking up my game, so I'm gonna have to add a capture. Let's do Chaosbane. Okay. Well, that's weird. Alright, I think I've got it. I think I've got it. As for your question, Root Foxes, just give me a moment. I'm gonna tell you some detailed examples of why one character might be preferred over another when starting. So there we go. Here is Chaosbane. So regarding starting for beginners, there's a tell me what you like to do. Do you like ranged combat or do you like melee combat? Do you like clearing maps quickly in AoE or do you like good single target damage? Do you want to rush through the story and speed through it, or do you want to take it slow? Uh, I mean, every character has some things that I like. In the thick of it. So you want to be in the middle of the enemies and stuff like that, and doing AoEs. So there's probably two choices. Either Bragi. Bragi is actually super fast for clearing AoE. He can be close range and he's nice. He has invulnerability as well for a few seconds. And if you want to be super tanky with good DPS, you want Conrad. Conrad is the most tanky of them all right now, and Conrad also has the best solo capabilities of pushing in the game. So you would probably want to go for a soldier. You would probably want to go for Conrad. I'm gonna show you Conrad now, cause you wanna see it. You probably might wanna see Conrad. I mean, I'm not playing with the good build, but I can switch to the good build. I kind of don't remember everything from my good build, but I think I remember most of the things. Conrad is not my favorite, but it is the meta guy. It is the meta right now. So let me quickly switch to a more meta setup though. First of all, I shouldn't be using this. This is my farming setup that I'm using right now. So this is far from the best setup. So basically what I need to do is switch to this, switch to this, switch to this. As you can see, I've got multiple versions of each item, depending on whether I'm farming or not. I'm not sure which shield was my farming shield. Let's say it's one of those. I think the Shield of Revenge is what I was using for farming due to the cooldown reduction. The other one's more damage, but okay. And for weapon, I think Blade of Vengeance was one of the best we could get. Just quickly wanna do something. So weapon, I think Blade of Vengeance is what I wanted. And what about that other shield I just got? More cooldown reduction, less armor piercing, more bok chance. Maybe this is a better one, we'll see. So, for Conrad, first of all, my skills right now are set up for farming. So there's a lot of things I don't want here. And I actually have a build video for this dude. I kind of don't remember everything I was using, but the basic stuff I was using. It was something like this, if I remember correctly. This damage, then I was using this damage. I think I was using this. I think that was kind of how I had the god skills set up for that. So let's start with the passives. Divine Judgment, Blessing of the Brave. Then the heroic skill was Justice of the Empire. This one here, it doesn't matter which one you pick. I was using a banner instead of taunt. So the damage reduction banner is what I was using, I think. I can't remember all the passives I was using, but I'm thinking I might have been using this one. Oh, and there's one more thing you can, I'm not sure whether it's considered exploit or not, but there's one thing you can do in the game. You can equip this shield to give yourself a heroic skill and go on another set and still get that heroic skill. So that's probably gonna be changing with the new patch. But see, now I can get this heroic skill and use it if I want to for a reduced cooldown on the potion. I think I'm forgetting something. I think I'm forgetting something from the build. Maybe I wasn't using Divine Judgment 3 and I was using 4. But in any case, for changing the difficulty, you go to change difficulty and you can change from very easy all the way to Chaos 8. I think certain difficulties unlock at certain levels. Chaos 8 is the hardest. But there's things that are harder than Chaos 8. So for example, if you go for Chaos 8 and do this thing, do Relic Hunt. You have Grand Relic Hunt being the hardest thing you can do in this version. But there's also invasions. Invasions here can go up in the ranks. You can go all the way to level 50 something invasions. I haven't pushed much on this character because it's not my favorite, but for example, if you do rank 10 invasions and if you complete it to 100%, you unlock the next 9 levels. So you complete every single one of those. Oops, I should not have clicked on it. So you complete every single one of those nodes in the invasions and you start unlocking certain debuffs for the enemies and buffs for yourself, such as resistance to corruption. Basically, when you're in this one, you would see here I'm corrupted, and this corruption takes damage over time. So in this one, because it was a super easy one, my health regeneration was better than the corruption, and I had corruption resistance. I want to explain this a bit more. So each node has different corruption. So this one is 1% corruption, which means 1% of your total HP per second getting drained. This one is 2%, 3%, and the hardest ones in the game are would be Chaos 6 invasions. And this is 10% of your HP drained per second. So in order to deal with this, you want to get corruption resistance. So there's a total of 60%, which means this 10% would get negated to 4% HP drained per second. But there's also a lot of annoying modifiers, such as skill cooldowns are increased for all players, or each time an enemy hits a hero, the enemy gains bonus damage, which is not that bad, but this one, where was it? Each time a hero uses a potion, their maximum health is permanently reduced, or there was one with the armor, permanently reduced armor. So cooldowns have a chance to increase when players take damage, then... Where was the one with the armor? It should be somewhere here. So hero's armor reduces over time, so the longer you stay without dying, the more your armor goes down. Sometimes when you take damage, the armor would get decreased. So each time an enemy hits a hero, the enemy gains bonus damage and armor for a few seconds, and there is the opposite there where you get reduced armor. So those are super annoying at the high ranks. And this you can do rank 10, and then when you complete rank 10 to 100%, you unlock 9 more ranks. In my case, rank 19. When you complete 19, you unlock 9 more ranks and you go to 28. And that's kind of how people normally do it, 9 by 9 by 9. I'm not sure whether this is a bug or not, but if I complete something on rank 19, like this, look at that, now I'm gonna collect this, but before I collect it, I will show you rank 11. So I can collect this on rank 11. So I'm gonna take this, and this gives me corruption resistance on rank 11. It didn't give me that on rank 12. But let's go to rank 13. I'm gonna collect it on rank 13 and then go back to rank 12, and you can see it's already collected to rank 12. So basically that's why we push 9 at a time. 9 by 9, because when you collect something in one rank, it unlocks it in the previous ranks. So that's how you do invasions. You do them 9 by 9, starting with rank 10 and then going 9 every time up. And it gets harder and harder and harder because for each rank you get 100% wood quality, but the enemies get extra HP, extra damage, and so on. So you can see on rank 19 and you can see on rank 11 the difference. So the enemies have 50% damage here, and then here they have 90% damage. So that's like 5% per rank extra. Then you have those legendary ranks. I forgot what it was. C. So legendary ranks are things that you might want to invest into, depending on what you're going for. So most of the times we would probably be going for this one, crushing. Damage enemies have a chance to deal less damage for a few seconds. And there's other things that you could use, but yeah, and this doesn't seem to have a big limit, a small limit. This, I think someone used a trainer to show the maximum you can get. And the maximum legendary ranks, I think, was 1000 something, 2000, 3000. It was something ridiculously stupid. Like super hard to get that high. But once you get like 100 legendary rank or 150, you wouldn't feel the need to get more. But yeah, you need to stick to, I would suggest while doing the story mode, stick to hard or very hard. Don't go for Chaos 1 when doing story mode. It just gonna make things super difficult for you. And it's not gonna be worth it, the XP and stuff. Chaos modes are meant to be done once you finish the story. And once you start getting some items. So basically start farming Chaos 1, 2, 3 until you get red gear. Once you get red gear, a full set, you can move on to Chaos 4, 5 and start farming for green items. Once you get a couple of green items, so basically what you want first is a weapon, gloves, and rings. Weapon, gloves, and rings, and maybe a helmet would be good for your DPS. Even if you're not able to survive that much with this guy, you're gonna be fine if you're going for Conrad. And you have to make sure to donate items you don't need. Just pick the best item as you level up. As you level up, you don't really care much about it. The highest level item would most likely be the best one for you as you level up, as you do the story. Don't beat yourself up. Every 1 or 2 levels, you're gonna be getting more and more wood. So just keep donating all the old gear. While donating, you're unlocking some skills. You're unlocking skills like this. Where is it? Like those collector's guild skills. So this I think is at level 2. I think this is at level 4, 6, 8. I think every 2 levels you get more things unlocked, and those you can put on your passive skill tree. Also, don't forget to click on fan skills. Fan skills are things that can give you extra wood quality, extra gold, fragments, divine fragments, etc. Also, there's some special emotes, some visual stuff basically, nothing too fancy. Like that's like depending on the DLCs you own, there's gonna be some vanity stuff. It's not gonna make or break the game, really. This 50% wood quality is nothing when we're talking about 7000 wood quality maps. 50% is not gonna change much. So I can't really remember exactly how my build was, so I'm gonna try and check my video on my PC. I'm gonna go to my records. Just a second. So if I go to build videos, Warhammer Chaosbane. Oh, I've deleted it. I've deleted it from my PC because I needed storage. Well, I don't remember all the skills. I could check it on my YouTube channel, I guess. I want to just check my skills, the way I use them. Just a moment. Just want to remember what passives I was using. Because it's been a while, and instead of me testing stuff, I'd rather just get the ready stuff for the build. I want to show you that Holy Justice build basically. So if you're looking for the build I'm playing, the meta setup for this guy, just look up Holy Justice. So just a second, I'm checking the passives. That's all I care about right now. What passives I was using. Oh yeah, Hero of the Desert. Ah, I remember now. Hero of the Desert. Because my points didn't add up. My points didn't add up. So I was not using this. And I was not using this. I was actually using the lower version of this thing for points. And then I was using, besides the duelist chain reaction, which is not here, besides this chain reaction, which is an invasion skill, and I can show you later where to unlock it, I remember using the banners passive, and I just didn't have points earlier to equip it because I was using the higher version of Sigmar. So this is extra damage reduction. This is basically a build that stacks a ton of damage reduction. And then what else did I have? I had the potion stuff. I was using one of the potions. I mean this one was kind of optional. But Hero of the Desert is nice for extra damage reduction. And then for this one I was using just a potion. Anyone would be fine, I guess. Just a second. I'm probably gonna use the damage one. I don't think I need survivability that much, so I'm probably gonna use the damage potion. I mean, as I said, this SWAT is kind of optional and it's the extra flavor. So anyone can use whatever they feel the need to use for this final SWAT. I'm just following what I was using in the video, so probably just gonna do it that way. So let's show you Chaos 8. As I said, Chaos 8 might seem to be the hardest, but it's not. Because you can get rank 45, rank 50 something invasions on Chaos 6 being harder than this one on Chaos 8. So let's start it, and just to show you a map. I'm gonna later switch to another character because I don't feel like playing Conrad right now. But just to show you this setup. I'm also gonna go to the Discord and post that I'm live to the Chaosbane Discord in case someone wanted to see something. So for this setup you basically are kind of immortal in many of the cases. As long as you have cooldown you can be immortal, as long as you keep spamming. Oh, I'm not using the right items, just a second, I'm not using the right items. I need an amulet that heals me. And this amulet, I cannot do it here. I need to quickly go to the town to change my gear. So there's an amulet that heals me when using this skill, and this skill can be spammed. This is it. So basically, I'm gonna show you now what I mean. And the game seems super quiet. Not sure if it's just on my end, whether you guys are hearing it loud enough. So you're gonna see now what I mean. You get a ton of cooldown reduction. And whenever I use this pew 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 pew, this is healing me. But the main damage comes from the meteors. I don't think I'm using the best items right now. My accessories are probably not the best ones. Because this is my farming set accessories. I'm gonna change them, just wanna kill those enemies. What are the enemies? Demonic portals regularly appear. So this is the worst map mod to be AFKing on. Because they're gonna constantly spawn on me. It's not a hard map mod, it's just something that's not good for what I wanna do. AFKing and changing my setup. Because the damage I'm doing right now is low. It's nowhere near what I want. You can see they can't kill me. And I wasn't even using my damage reduction. So they can only kill me if I'm not using my damage reduction, which is this one and this one. Otherwise they can't, as long as I'm healing. But if I stop healing, you see I die. So I have to keep healing. But Chaos 8 is not good for farming. Chaos 8 is not the thing you want to be doing. You want to be doing invasions, because you can get much more wood quality. This is only 4,800 wood quality. But with invasions, with each rank, you keep getting 100 wood quality. So in order to have more wood quality than this, you need to be doing Chaos 6 invasion on rank, I think, rank 10. So if you're doing Chaos 6 invasion in rank 10, you're already with more wood quality than a Chaos 8 map. As I said, I want to change my accessories because the damage I'm doing is nowhere near as much as I need it to be. And this guy does more damage when he's blocking. So if there's more enemies around me, I would be doing better. Haven't played it in a while, so I'm not the best at it. But you can see the more enemies hit you, the more damage you get, because you get stacks of damage for each block, up to 20 stacks. So that's the stacks over down there, the orange stacks. So if you don't have enough enemies around you, you might wanna change things and pull some more enemies. And if you block, you keep resetting your cooldowns and you can keep spamming more. And this is what I'm talking about. If you want to be in Wosen, if you want to condense the numbers, this is a good example of how you can condense the numbers. But yeah, I normally don't do Chaos 8, and I normally don't play this character because it's so boring to play it. Yeah, you can be immortal if you play it right. You can be immortal. As long as you keep spamming this skill, you keep healing. That's kind of how it is, and there's a ton of damage reduction you can stack. That requires you to keep using certain skills all the time. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this map and do something more fun than this. It's just not fun for me to play it. And also I'm gonna show you quickly with the right rings. This is not the right ring, and this is not the right ring. Those are farming rings. So the right rings are probably here. Damage reduction, and then where did I leave my other rings? Fortification. So you want to be stacking damage reduction. And as you saw, I wasn't stacking damage reduction. So this makes me do less damage, but take less damage and have more HP. So this is one of the rings that is suggested. This is another ring that is suggested. Doing a crit gives you extra damage reduction. And there's other rings that can work well for the setup. Like, where was it? This one's also not bad, it gives you healing and extra HP, but those are the two suggested rings, so now I've got another 40% damage reduction. So I'm gonna show you just some invasions. This one's annoying because it increases the cooldowns. But let's show you something. This is the Chaos 4 invasion on rank 19. But I'm gonna go and play something else after this map. But as I said, the best wood quality is not in Chaos 8. Invasions cannot go to Chaos 8, which I think can be changed if the developers are up to it. They can make it so that we can select. You see, I was doing Chaos 8 and I had 4800 wood quality. But I'm doing Chaos 4 in rank 19 and I have 4600. So if I go to Chaos 6 in rank 19, that's gonna be another 600. So I'm already gonna be at 5200 at Chaos 6 rank 19. So invasions is where the wood quality is. So now I have much better damage reduction and it's gonna be a bit harder for them to kill me. My HP is a lot more as well. But damage reduction is super important if you wanna survive in the higher difficulties. And there's different sets. Each character has, as I said, 4 sets. You start with red items, like kind of like ancient items in Diablo. You have the red ones and then you have the green ones. The green ones can be mixed and matched with the red ones. The red ones are kind of weaker versions of the green ones, with one less stat. That's the only difference. One less stat and the stats are weaker. So on a green item you can get much higher HP, much higher crits, much higher stuff like that. Like all those stats you can see on an item can be higher on a green one. And you have one extra stat on a green item. So eventually, before you move on to the harder stuff, you want green gear. But if you want to prioritize what to try and get, weapon, gauntlets, helmet and accessories are more important than the rest. Especially weapon and gauntlets, those can give you damage, fat damage. I will change to something different later. I would ask the people, the viewers, to decide what they wanna see. I've got all the characters with all the sets, all the gear that you can think of. Not proper min-max gear, but pretty decent gear still. And this is actually one of the characters I've played the least, because it's not my favorite. It's kind of the most boring character to play for me. Especially this setup. I love playing with the meteor, but I don't love playing the way this build needs to be played, even though it's like the meta build right now. For solo pushing, this probably can push the furthest compared to the other characters and builds, if used well. But it still has downsides. When a map has increased cooldowns for the player, it definitely would feel bad. But look, Soldier might not be boring to you, it's boring to me. See, different people prefer different things. Like, does this look like something you wanna be playing? The whole setup of this is, you have to get enemies to hit you and build stacks. Do you see those vengeance stacks? That's 20 stacks of extra damage from the Blade of Vengeance. So you have to be blocking. As you're blocking, your cooldowns get reset. So you have to be right there in the middle of it, tanking, and you can keep hitting yourself as long as you're spamming this. Each time I do this beam, I'm regenerating 20% of my HP. If it sounds like a fun class, you can start with him. And in the story mode you can be pretty fast with this skill. Break through the ranks, you can keep moving with this skill. Although it's kind of an underwhelming because they're calling it break through the ranks, but sometimes you're not gonna be breaking through anything. You're gonna be stuck facing an enemy cluster and not being able to pass through them until you kill them. It's not like you can knock them back that much if they're a high level enemy. So you can see we killed the boss here and it dropped something red. And then we can leave the area, or we can go to the exit. So you can either manually leave or go to the exit. Over here. And by the way, this is the Bloodlust mode. Each character has Bloodlust mode. While under Bloodlust you get more fragments from enemies and you get some new skills on your skill bar. So kind of like the apocalyptic form in Wolsen. But you don't get transformed into a demon or something, you just have 3 stages, and the more you wood certain orbs, the more that fills up. So I'm gonna be showing you different characters. I'm gonna show you one of my favorites, the dwarf Bragi. He's another guy who's in the middle of everything, and he's probably the fastest to do the campaign on. I'm not sure what build I was playing the last time I was on this guy, but yeah, I normally experiment with a lot of weird builds, a lot of non-meta builds. And this is the bug we were talking about with Gawain earlier, when Bragi is duplicated. Do you see that? We see 2 times the dwarf. Mage is also super fast, like on a mage you have the fastest farming build. Alright, I'm gonna do one map on each character. I'm not sure what build I'm playing right now, but regardless of what the build is, it's still gonna be okay. So this is a Grimnir build. Okay, a Grimnir farming build is what I've been doing apparently. Grimnir farming build. So I'm gonna be doing something with some corruption. 9% corruption in Chaos 3. Cooldowns, cooldowns. Heroes constantly bleed, enemies can dodge. Let's do this, Chaos 4. This is rank, what rank is it? 30 something maybe? Let me check the rank now. The rank is rank 37 Chaos 4. And I'm at 7000 wood quality with this build. This is a farming build. So I'm maximizing my crit chance to maximize my wood quality. I'm rusty. I've not played this game in quite some time. Need some warm up. So this number 1 skill that I've got gives me vulnerability. My number 2 is high damage and even more damage to stunned targets, and I've got a constant burning aura around me from my set. And there's also burning from the dashing skill that I'm using. And my number 4 gives me max HP bonus and heals me. So there's a lot of synergies to consider. But at the moment this guy is kind of in a bad place, because most meta builds for this guy would be using this skill, and this skill. Those 3 skills are in most meta builds out there. Of course, you can see I can still get one shot if I'm not careful, so you have to consider when you use your invulnerability, when you jump, when you dash. So it's not just about the build, it's about how you use it as well. But if you keep resetting your cooldowns, you're gonna have some nice farming going on. I think I'm using farming items. Let me check. This one is, yeah, this is my farming axe. I normally don't use this axe, but this allows me to reset my cooldowns every time I kill a champion. So with this, I'm focusing on killing champions. I normally don't use this ring because it's shit, but it's my highest cooldown reduction and highest crit chance combo ring. So I'm only using it to get crit chance because with this amulet, for each crit chance score, you get a certain amount of wood quality. And this goes up to 500 wood quality for 80% crit chance. You can see I'm now at 61% crit chance, and that's why I get 386 wood quality. So this is not my pushing set, it's my farming set. My farming Grimnir setup with rings that I don't normally use. Those rings of dexterity are super weak with that dodge chance. You can see I can still get one shot if I'm not careful. And this is actually considered something difficult because it's rank 37. But yeah, I've not played this in so long, I've kind of gotten very, very rusty. But with this guy, you can speed through the campaign with this charging skill, dashing skill, and with the invulnerability. Because not only you're invulnerable when you use the number 1 skill I'm using, you're invulnerable for a few seconds, but you also don't consume energy. And this charging skill consumes energy normally. So with this god skill, that's my number 1. I'm not consuming energy. Just a second. My headset needs recharging. Just a moment. Alright, I've plugged in the headset. So yeah, fun guy to play, one of my favorites to play. Mages are super strong as well with certain setups, with a certain item, with the Phantom Blade that I forgot the name of the skill, but and a Heart Seeker. So you can see getting wacky here with the green drop. And now I can either go to the end of the map, which should be here, or I can just leave like this. It doesn't matter whether I go into the portal or leave like this if I've completed the boss. But if you're doing a relic hunt, you wanna finish the map to the end to open the relic chest. So the relic hunt, the thing that's special about relic hunts is those chests at the end. So if I were to go to, let's say, Chaos 7 or Chaos 6 with this build, because Chaos 7 might be a bit too much for a farming build, you're gonna see that it's gonna be much less wood quality on a Grand Relic Hunt map. But you get that 900 extra wood quality, so when you're starting out you have to make choices. Do I want to start pushing Relic Hunts on Chaos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Do I want to start doing invasions? And I think invasions are a good thing to do after reaching the end game, the early invasions. because their invasions are kind of easy, very easy, normal, etc. I think they start from easy and then go to normal and hard, very hard, and something like that. Or maybe they start from normal. So you can see I don't lose HP over time in relic hunts, but my wood quality is only 4,900. That is with all the wood quality I'm stacking from my gear and from the amulet, so that gives me crit chance based wood quality. And my number 2, by the way, sacrifices HP to do damage. So it's a balance with this setup. You have to kill a certain amount of enemies and kill the boss, but you don't have to kill the enemies before killing the boss, which is one of the best things ever. You can end up rushing the boss and killing it and then kill a bit more enemies and then you're over. It's not like Wosen where you have to kill the boss, you have to kill enemies to get the boss to spawn. I'm not a big fan of how Wosen is doing things in many aspects. So, as I said, the game Chaosbane does have many things like bad balancing and variety of certain things, but overall it also does a lot of things nicely. It still has that fast-paced, visceral, crispy combat animation in all classes and all skills. So visually this game also has things nailed. It just needs more balancing, more reworks of certain skills, and mostly the itemization system is super limited and boring. But it does certain things with the endgame right. I'm not a big fan of the map modes. Some of the map modifiers that you can get are so annoying. It just makes the game not fun to play. So Wosen does modifiers very well. Wosen does map modifiers very well. Thomas Kovacic, welcome to the Struck Club if you're watching. Thank you for the YouTube sub. If you're not watching still, thank you. So you can see this one is not having a map. I don't have a mini map on this one. So I got to do a dungeon where I don't have a mini map. That's one of the modifiers that is not that annoying. I can deal with a map without mini map by doing a run without it. But there's other things that increase the player's cooldowns when you take damage or overtime, or decrease the player's armor or maximum HP permanently, which is super annoying. I mean, it doesn't feel like a good thing to do. So bosses have mechanics. This can one-shot me if I don't wait and let it hit me. So you might want to learn the mechanics of the bosses. There's also boss rushes where you go straight for a boss fight. Boss at the end of a chapter. So each act has its own end boss, and you can go to those and just do boss rushing, which is super nice way for a new player to get items. Some red items when you're just a newbie, and red items are what you need to finish a set. You can go and do boss rushes and it would work well for you. Okay. And with the relic hunt, as I said, there is a relic chest. So check my wood quality right now, 5,200, because I've got this buff, which you can get on every map if you stay alive for a while and don't die. You lose it if you die. So 5,200. Now if I wood this chest, I'm gonna lose the 900 bonus wood quality. So if you had other chests you wanted to wood, like those chests here, you wanna wood those before taking the relic chest, because now those have 900 less wood quality. it would be 300, 600 or 900 depending on what type of relic hunt you're doing. So you can see there's a lot of red gear. Eventually every now and then you would be getting greens. The green drop rates are not that bad. I think the audio, the master volume might need to be increased a bit. Just a moment. Alright, I think this is fine for the sound. Hey Dimich. And this is kind of a pet, yeah, it's a pet that just increases the wood radius. So each character, as I showed you, can go into the skills S, then fan skills. And fan skills is, as I said, just some bonus stuff that's not needed, but you have two different types of companions. So I can equip a different one and then you have this guy. There's a slight difference between them, but they're kind of yeah, just some sort of ancestral spirit after me. So let's show you the other classes. The mage, I can show you the mage now, and then after that the summoner or rogue Elessa. Basically Elessa can be ranger, trap master or summoner, but the mage can have more tanky setup for team support, health regeneration, damage reduction, etc. But it can also have a super speedy AoE build, which I play for farming. The speedy AoE build kind of has unlimited teleports. As long as you have energy, you can teleport, and you can make it super nice. You can see this. You can see my energy goes down, but and you can even do it in one place, and you can leave those things on the ground. Those damage enemies over time. And the set also does whitening damage around you. So you're gonna see some whitenings around you. I'm not sure why we're not seeing those whitenings right now. Probably we need to be in a map. And then there's this item. Grants a permanent fiery over the damages and burns enemies. So I'm burning enemies and then I'm damaging them with whitenings. So let's do this thing now. Chaos 4. Each time a hero uses a potion, their maximum health is permanently reduced. See, this is one of the annoying things. When heroes take damage, their armor is permanently reduced. Another super annoying modifier that I wish would be gone from the game and change for something more realistic, more user-friendly. Basically, I have problems with certain modifiers, just they don't feel right. They feel too punishing. So you can see with this build I can just teleport left and right. And I left the Sigius on the ground and then they're damaging the enemies and he's dying. And now I'm out of energy. So what I do is I spam basic attacks to get energy. You can kind of weave it in. Teleport, do some basic attacks. Teleport, do some basic attacks. I do need HP though. I do need basic attacks. And if I use my potion, I lose... if I use my potion, I lose my maximum HP. And until I die, my maximum HP would keep going lower and lower each time I use a potion. If I consume energy, I can heal up. So this is a perfect example of not a really good map for this build. So I can heal myself by consuming energy. And I can consume energy either with teleports or doing this. And I can also leave this healing field on the ground, the purple field that keeps healing me. And that way I can probably stay alive in one place without using a potion. But still, if an enemy does an AoE on me, I die. So This is more of a farming build for the more easy difficulty stuff. It's not for the high difficulty. So you can see the healer healed the enemy, so there's healers, enemy healers that are pretty annoying sometimes, if you let them be. And now I kind of another one shot. I'm just showing you, the game is not, the game can be challenging, it's not just steamrolling everything. So some builds are good for certain things, other builds are good for other stuff. This is not meta pushing build, this is a speed farming, speed running build for the lower difficulties. This enemy explodes, so if you kill one of those big demons, you might wanna run away from the explosion. Oh, and you can move some spells with spacebar. So these spells I'm moving it around with spacebar, and it's going where my cursor is. This is the archetype ability of the mage. Each class has a different archetype ability, but this feels very underwhelming archetype ability for this class. I think they need to do some changes to it to be able to move more than just one spell at the same time, because there's more than one spell you can move. So any spell that has this this bow, this blue bow, can be moved. So wherever your spacebar is, it will move the last cast spell with this. I think the way they should do it is when we press spacebar, we would be able to move all of them, and when we press shift and spacebar, we only move the last cast. That's how I think it should be. Because you can end up casting etheric rays on the ground, and you're placing some beams that stay in place. And you can only move the last one, but if you're placing 3 beams, it would be nice to be able to move all 3 beams and focus them on the same enemy. The same goes for those orbs or for those tornadoes. You can see I can move this. I can move this one, but yeah. And you pay 10% of your gold to revive. So if you have few million, you're gonna be paying 10% of that. If you have 10,000, you're still gonna be paying 10% of the 10,000 when you die. So the more money you've got, the more you lose. Alright, let's go complete the map now. I'm not gonna stop for the enemies. I intentionally picked up this map because it's amazing. The more I take damage, the more my armor goes down. Until I get one shot. Because look, you can see my armor now is 25,000. If I take a few hits... Come on enemies, hit me. I need someone that can hit me. Maybe a ranged enemy. Did I not take a hit? I'm not taking hits. I'm dying from the damage over time, from the corruption. As I said, invasions have corruption. So yeah. Let me heal up. Okay, now I took some damage. Let's see my armor. It's still 25. Wait, is that armor permanently decreased? It is, but maybe I didn't take enough damage, or maybe that's the lowest it can go. So this boss would be a big challenge for me on this build. So this dome makes the enemy take 25% more damage while inside the dome. That's why I did it. And there we go, he's done. So this is the farming setup. I can show you now a different build on this guy. Stat points like Wosen, no, you don't have stat points. The only thing close to stat points is the legendary ranks, which you can always respec to your liking. So this is how you trade items to the NPC. You kind of donate the items, and you don't get money or anything like that. You get reputation, and as you keep leveling the reputation, you unlock Collector's Guild skills, which you can use for farming, such as this crit chance, or this wood quality, and other things that can be good for you. So there's other builds, and by the way, you have layout, you have saved builds, so you can switch between 4 different builds. And this changes the items and the skills. You can see it changed my skills. And you also have god skills, so god skills also can get changed when you change the builds. Some nice quality of life there. So you can see I'm changing that, and you have 2 god skills. The first one you get for you get with the base game. The second one you get from the DLC, the god skills DLC. So you can see I'm changing builds and my passives change, but you can have you can spec into both trees depending on what you want to be using. You can see it's also changing my items. This is War Master build, Impetuous 1 build, Dragon Tamer build, Defender of Oot 1 build. So Oot 1 is a bit more tanky. I'm gonna show you Oot 1 now. I think he's already good to go. So Oot 1 can be made as a soul setup for some things. It can also be made as a setup for supporting the team, depending on what you're stacking. I'm not sure what I've got it set up for now, right now. I most likely have it set up for solo damage reduction, but I'm gonna check. So damage reduction. Skills that generate energy deal more damage. So I've set it to be not as max tanky as possible. So it's not max tankiness. It's more on the damage side right now. Let me see the passives. Damage reduction here. Damage reduction here. Damage reduction here. Then there's damage reduction here, but a bit more damage here, and this is also damage reduction. So in theory you can get a ton of defense with this guy, but you need around 30 million defense for the highest, for the strongest content. You can see now I'm at 5 million, and soon I will be at way less. So this guy should be able to one-shot me if I don't stack a lot of defenses. This is one of my preferred builds to play for pushing. There's another one that can do much more damage but not as much survivability with the Dragon Tamer set. This one requires you to stand static to get the most out of the setup, to stand static for a long time. And you can see 26 million defense. and with enough items and the right legendary rank things, I can get even more tankiness. So you can kind of face tank bosses the same way Conrad can. Of course, it's not good for all types of content. Some types of content you just won't be able to out heal the DPS, or to out DPS the enemy regeneration and things like that. That's where team play comes in handy if you reach a wall. But that's kind of it about this game. You're pushing the boundaries, and when you reach a wall, that's it. And I think the game really needs to rework some of the map mods. Some of the map mods that you might encounter are super bad. They just don't feel right. But apart from that, you can see the game does have some nice animations, and let's check my settings. I think it's all on the maximum for the graphics settings that I'm using. I'm not using VSync, but I mean, I could use it if needed. Was it F11? Shift F11? I'm not sure what the FPS thing was, the command. So there isn't much to check. They're just enabling things, and yeah, they probably are gonna add some more stuff eventually, but there's barely any customization apart from the resolution, windowed mode, VSync, depth of field, volumetrics, etc. Yeah, we do know what the new character would be. It's a dwarven engineer. I'm gonna show you after this map. Basically, I've got a video on my channel about it, but I can show you some images that I showed in my video. So she's called Kiwa, and she's a dwarven engineer. This is from New Year, a post from the Twitter, the Chaosbane Twitter, but I'm gonna show you some other stuff. Where did I save it? It's somewhere here. Just a second. So there we go. This is her. So she's got a pistol, she's got some sort of a hammer, and she's got a backpack, very steampunk. So she's gonna be using turrets, bombs, and other things like that. Kind of a gadgeteer sort of engineer. That's another set of her, so far we've seen 2 of her 4 sets. I'm assuming she's gonna have 4 sets the same way all other characters have 4 sets. And what else can I show you about her? I think that's the more important stuff about her that I could show you. I mean, there's more things from the Twitter pages that I've taken, but yeah, that's kind of it for her. I do have a video on my YouTube channel posted a few days ago where I'm talking about her and about what's gonna be in the new expansion, but there hasn't been that much info. I've just copied some information from Twitter and made it into a video. I haven't done much more research because there's no other source to get the info at the moment. They haven't revealed much about it. The only other thing that was revealed after I made the video is the Beastman. So we're gonna be fighting some sort of minotaurs in the new zone. On the official Twitter, the Chaosbane Twitter, they revealed that. You can see I can move this and move with it if I want to. And I can also move the whitenings as well. So you can see I kind of did this run with this more tanky build, and even and that's not the maximum tankiness of the build. I can make it much more tankier. At the moment I've got few things that are giving more damage rather than survivability. And this is giving survivability not just for me but for my teammates as well. So this game is meant to be played together if you want to get the most out of it. Because you're buffing each other, you're uh, giving each other cooldown reduction or damage reduction or damage and things like that. So you can see this field is from the Relentless Sentinel. It gives me 100% damage, 20 damage reduction and 10% crit chance. And that's not just to me but to anyone in the field. And this one gives another 20% damage reduction and makes the enemies take 100% damage when inside the field. And then this one gives it makes magic damage, but it also gives health regeneration and energy regeneration while inside it. And this one can give 25% extra damage to anyone that gets struck by the lightning. And this one, my Phantom Blade, can give me another 20% damage reduction when I hit an enemy. This is like a melee skill for the mage. The set itself, the set is casting a magic spell reduces the damage taken by all players for a few seconds. And magic spells, this is considered a magic spell. So we've got some extra damage reduction and healing received for a few seconds. This is also a magic spell. This is also considered a magic spell. This is magic and fire. It also triggers that. So as long as I'm doing this or even the teleport, I've made it a magic one. And yeah, this is also magic. So the only non-magic thing I'm using would be my number 4 and this one, which are fire. So let's show you the ranger next. The ranger is fun. I mean, she can be trapper, she can be summoner, but she's the most underpowered class right now out of all of them. She has the least amount of damage she can do, and she can have something with okay survivability but not as good survivability as the mage or the soldier. I can also show you some of the other towns. So this is my farming, speed farming poison build. Basically, I can leave poison trails when I dodge if I build for it, which I have, I think, yeah. And then there's poison around me from this set. This set gives me a poison aura. Also boosts poison skills to do 200% extra damage, and I'm using a heroic poison skill. This blade kind of rebounds off of woes, so you can use it pretty nicely. And I'm using this item, which gives me a percentage of the health regeneration added to damage. So I'm using health regeneration skills to get more health regeneration and get more damage. You can see now I've got 332, and I can use other things for more health regeneration as well. Again, this is a speed farming set. It's not a pushing setup that I'm using. So let's do some more invasions. This is rank 28 invasions for this guy. I don't remember what I was doing on the mage. So we've got options Chaos 3 or this very hard node or this very hard node. I mean, it doesn't matter. Eventually you have to do them all when you're pushing invasions. I think this invasion needs to be reworked as well, because every rank has the exact same nodes. Every fucking time you're doing the exact same nodes, with the exact same bonuses, and if they make more randomness, I mean, I'm not asking for for Chaos 3 nodes in rank 1 to be the same as Chaos 3 nodes in rank 2, but I'm asking for example, this node in rank 29, for example, to not be known, to be a different type of enemies, to be a different biome. Then on rank 30 to be a completely different one. Just to randomize the enemies, to randomize what biome you're doing in that same node every rank. So let's say you complete a certain rank and unlock a new one. The ones that you unlock, whether it's just a single one you've unlocked or multiple ones you've unlocked, get completely randomized in regards to what biomes and what modifiers they give you. Still having a certain set of modifiers and biomes that you can get, but kind of sticking to it being randomized. I'm gonna explain it better when I'm in the town. So for this setup you can just spam those Brambos for more poison. You can maybe dodge and spam Brambos, because you can see I'm leaving poison trail. I'm leaving a poison trail, so I can just do that. And the enemies can walk into my poison trail. Here the wood quality is 5800. It's Chaos 3, so it's not something difficult, but it's rank 28, which makes it have an okay wood quality. Basically, if you want to be getting greens, you need over 3000 wood quality. Over 3000 wood quality is more than enough to get greens. And for this poison build you need good cooldown reduction, which at the moment I don't really have the best cooldown reduction, 44.5. So the cooldown on this blade is 11 seconds. Of course, as I'm critting, I'm resetting the cooldown and so on. But this really needs to be more spammy. It used to be more spammy, then they nerfed it. Nerfing the weakest character of them all. The best decision ever. But I know why they nerfed it, because everyone was playing that and they wanted to open up some of the other builds. Summoner builds are also fun. This one can be summoner. I can show you summoner build next. If you like summoner builds, they are not that strong, but they can still do very well up to a certain difficulty. You can see how well they've condensed the numbers. So Wilson can do something similar and take a hint and condense their numbers to KM instead of writing the full thing. 385k, 12m, 13m. I don't really care about the rest of the numbers, and just making it optional. If you want to condense the numbers, condense them. If you don't want to, don't. Make it a toggle option. This would be a great quality of life to a game like Wilson, for example, that goes into the millions of damage. See, a game like Quast Epoch doesn't go into that big numbers, so it doesn't need something like this. But a game like Wilson definitely needs condensed numbers. So for bosses like this on this build, it's super nice if you get them close to a wall and you just use that spinning blade like this. You see, it's ricocheting, it's hitting the enemy again, it's gonna keep ricocheting and keep hitting him if you do it well. So you can use the rebounding mechanic of this skill like this. Look at that. So let's show you the summoner now. I hope I've got the summoner gear equipped. I do. Wait, just first I want to see what summoner god skills I'm using, because I'm not always using the same setup. So this is not my typical summoner setup. Just to note, this is not my typical summoner setup, which means I'm probably gonna respec quickly. I think I'm forgetting something. What did I have before in my regular summoner setup? Maybe cooldown, assassination. I think I had assassination. And assassination is a damage increase to enemies with high HP. So that means I think bosses. It doesn't mean when an enemy has a lot of HP, it means bosses and champions. This is how I understand it. The developers have not confirmed. I've asked on the Discord channel, no one has been replying to my message what this does, what this is supposed to do. And the summons can't crit, so when you're going for a build like this, you're not going into crits. Not sure whether they benefit from armor piercing as well. When it comes to summons, many things are not clear in the game. So first I want active skills, Defiler's Reckoning with more summons. I think I messed up the passives. Let me check. Yeah, I don't think I need this. I don't really remember exactly what I was doing before, but I can get more cooldown. Honestly, let's get more cooldown. Let's get more cooldown here. And right, let's do this. Like that. I mean, it's not what I normally do. I just don't want to go and watch my videos to remember what I was doing before, because I've forgotten. But I'm pretty sure I was using this and this, and I'm pretty sure I was using this thing here. I might have been using that one, because this says the exact same thing and it doesn't give us a number of how much higher the chance of this compared to this and of this compared to this is. So I might have been using this thing and this thing, and there we go. I think that's it. That's definitely not my regular setup, but let's just play with it. Let's just play with it. It's definitely not the regular setup I use. So Chaos 6, let's do that. Chaos 3, let's do that. So now you're gonna see the summons. First of all, I want to check the items. I normally don't use tireless guardians, I use deadly tips. So this was just a different setup. For the summoner with the tireless guardians. Because I was trying to find an alternative setup, and it was working well actually. Back then when I tested it, it was working well. So you can see the summons keep killing stuff and they keep multiplying each other. And I get damage based on how many summoned creatures I've got. Each summoned creature 30% damage. And I can have quite a few of those. But there are certain things that don't work the way you want them. God skills deal more damage. This doesn't seem to buff my summons to do more damage, but they are God skills. So there's a lot of things that don't work the way you might want them to. See, this is 1,200,000, and I'm gonna lose damage here because this gives me flat damage. So if I were to equip one that doesn't give me flat damage, this one doesn't give flat damage. So see, now it's 1,158 and without it 1,091. But that's because I just lost some bonus stats. Where is it? Oh no, I actually lost flat damage. I lost flat damage. Without that flat damage, it would have been different. So this is 4,000 flat damage. I need a Wild Hunt talisman that doesn't give flat damage to demonstrate how this is broken. At the moment I don't have it to show you. But the number changes only because there's flat damage on the amulet. Not because of that extra 50% more damage. And if that worked the way I want it to, it would have been nice because the summons would be doing 50% more damage. And I've done a ton of testing. When it comes to this game, I've done shit tons of testing. I wish there was a way to tell the summons to attack a certain target though, to focus fire. As far as I know there isn't. And this is my bloodlust on this character by the way. On higher difficulties it's underwhelming, on lower difficulties it could be nice to use those. And those bloodlust skills, as I said, while you're killing enemies under the bloodlust mode you're getting more fragments. And fragments are used to upgrade items, which is something I've not shown you yet. Basically it's called blessing items. I've got guides on YouTube about this, but you no longer need those guides. Because it's pretty much straightforward now compared to before. So you put an item and then you have different combinations. So for example this and this, when they're linked, give me HP, armor, counter attack. If I unlink them, this gives armor, this gives HP. I can go for HP only. And of course there's not gonna be links. And when you put this here, it changes the minimum from 12,000 to 18,000. So you can see 3,000, 3,334, 2,000, the maximum always stays the same. So you want to be using God tokens. Those drop from bosses. Or you can do some other combos like, let's show you some combos. This is one combo. Critical damage, damage over time. Critical damage, armor, energy. Critical chance, critical damage, damage. armor piercing damage, and so on. So you can see how I'm gonna show you something quickly with the crit stuff. So this is damage and crit chance and crit damage. And it's kind of broken because you can see now I'm getting half crit chance, up to half crit chance, up to 4 crit damage and 421 damage. And I'm supposed to get 2 times this. And I kind of am, but not really. You see the crit damage remains the same. The crit chance goes higher though. And I can do it, I can do another one like this. So there's some diminishing returns in some things. So you can see the damage now is 1681, which is kind of okay, but there's some things that you can notice, like with the HP you can really notice the difference. So you can see one of those end damage is 1200 damage to 2000 HP. So I'm supposed to get 2 times this. But look at the damage. Look at how the damage changes from 1112 to 1820. So in theory, instead of getting 4480 by doing this, it considers how many green and how many red you've got. So you have to put you have to make a balance. So if you want to make it balanced, you do it like this. Now you have 4000 damage, 6000 HP. If you want even more damage, you do it like this. So you kind of have to experiment and figure things out. So you can see this is 4480 with 4000 HP. So it's probably much more reliable if you do it like this. You're only losing 420 damage, but you're gaining another 2000 HP. So eventually you're gonna learn how much HP equals how much damage and how much armor. Someone discovered they made an error on one of the skill modifiers in Wosen with a new patch. Wailing arrows dealing instead of minus 400 to plus 400. Well, that's fun. Use it while it lasts. And welcome back Reaper. Welcome back to the stream. Nice to have you. So yeah, use wailing arrows if you wanna abuse this while it lasts. Which is the modifier, by the way? Can you tell me what the modifier is? It's probably the one that deals the damage at once. The one that deals 400 less percent less damage, but does the damage at one altogether at once. And how are you sure that it's like that? Because basically it does way more damage even with the minus 400%. It does way more damage because it's only doing one hit. And if you leave it to do damage over time, it's doing multiple hits. I might log in tomorrow on Wilson just to see the difference of the damages. Wilson really needs a test dummy in the town. Okay, let's go and continue. Kill this boss. And I can leave because I've killed the boss and this is completed. So yeah, basically I showed you all 4 characters. So if you want to know more about a certain character, see more of their skills and so on, do let me know. So let me know which character you want to see and I'm gonna be playing that character for the next hour. Exactly, that's how it was in the beta. Reaper in the beta, this modifier used to do shit tons of damage, even with the reduced damage, even with the minus 400%. Although in the beta we couldn't see what the minus damage was. So even though it's supposed to be minus 400, it still does very high number. Here was Biernacki. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this correctly. Heosh Bernacki. Welcome to the Stroke Pop. Thank you for the YouTube sub if you are watching. You're gonna try Soldier. Yeah, Soldier isn't bad. It isn't a bad one. No, it's not a typo. It's not a typo, Reaper, because if you combine the damage over time, it will be more than the damage you do at once. But since you're doing the damage at once, that's why they're balancing it out and decreasing it by 400%. So if you check the damage per hit, the damage per hit would be bigger. But if you combine all the different hits that you can do with Wailing Arrows throughout its duration, and compare that total number with the number that you get for the single hit with the minus 400, you're gonna be seeing the difference. And this is where maybe it's a bit difficult to test this thing. Question though, should I try and rush through the game to get to endgame, or just kill and smash everything? Well, I think it's okay to try and rush it. I don't think you're gonna be feeling under leveled. You can just kill as you go. Try to rush it and kill as you go. But of course, if you care about story, if you care about certain things, you might wanna kind of read the text and listen to the voiceover and all of that. It's up to you, depending how you prefer to play. Where was my poison set? I might play a bit on the poison set while I'm on this hero. Can I do this champion? Oh, this one's gonna be a bit difficult because of the damage over time enemies. Those enemies, the floaty guys, do damage over time when they die. And it's unavoidable because the damage over time gets dealt to you in your feet. So it's good to kill them one by one, because if you kill them at once, you're gonna have a bad time. Where is the boss? I can't see him. And of course I died. Well, it was kind of unavoidable with all the damage over time that I'm getting. But now I can focus on the guy. What rank is this? Rank 28. Yeah, it's not gonna be easy on rank 28 to deal with him. Especially when he keeps teleporting right when I cast my spell. This is my AoE super speed farming. It's not my boss rushing and invasion pushing setup. Alright, we got this one. You can leave the area. Now we can do a bit of stuff on this side to get that one there. A bit of the easy stuff, but at least the easy stuff you can speed through it. And this is why I think invasions need to change the way they're done. So let's say the node is Chaos 1 node. Make it so that people can push it to Chaos 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not under 1. So make it Chaos 1 being the minimum, but being able to pick higher difficulties for every node in the invasion. So that when you're repeating it and when you're doing it for the end time, because you will be repeating the same stuff over and over and over every time you do a new rank. First of all, randomize it. So for example, now I'm fighting Act 1 enemies, but next time I'm doing the same node in the invasion map, but on a different rank. It could be a different act, different biome, and that would work super nicely. And every time being able to pick a higher difficulty than the minimum one. So this is very hard. Let's say very hard is the minimum difficulty you can do this node on as a requirement, but being able to push it to harder than very hard would be nice. That way the boring easy nodes that you have to do every time if you want to reach the hard nodes on every invasion rank could be still some challenge and could still give you extra nice wood quality. Otherwise it's a chore and it's so boring having to do the same things over and over and over again. I can spend hours saying about the things that this game can do to be better and to be more appealing to the player base. Because I've played so much of it, I do know what feels wrong and what feels right. And it's obvious what people like. You can see the successful games like Path of Exile and what people enjoy in that game. You can see what people enjoy in Diablo 3. You can see what people enjoy in Grim Dawn, in the top dogs in the genre, and now even Wolsen being the new player in the market of hack and slash shooters. This game could have been so much more of a success. Could have had much more success than it did. Because it had the hype, it had the initial hype and people, there were over 20,000 people watching, I think, streams a week before the launch or on launch week. I was looking at some statistics the other day for this game just to see, out of curiosity, how many people were watching on Twitch and how many people were playing the game. And I think the highest amount of players playing the game was like 4,000 something people, which is not bad. For what this game was, it was not bad, and it could have kept growing instead of losing player base. If it had cloud saving instead of local saving, if it had what's its name, if it had better balancing and better itemization, and if they didn't screw up the drop rates at launch. Red items were dropping like crazy, then they added green items, and then green items were barely dropping at all. And yeah, the lack of content and the lack of variety of the enemies on launch kind of made most people quit on week 2, 3. Maybe some people stayed for week 4, but by week 4 the majority of the players quit. And then they kept quitting and quitting and quitting, and in the end I think right now there's probably less than 30-40 people playing the game, maximum 60 on Steam. There's more console players than PC players, I think, right now. and it still has a lot of potential. It has very good animations, it has a decent engine, it doesn't look ugly, it looks nice, the animations, the combat looks nice. The balancing and the itemization and the bad map modifiers are annoying, and the repetitive nature of invasions. So this is super easy. This is me doing very hard, but I have to do the very hard ones to get to the difficult ones, to get to Chaos 1, Chaos 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is every time you start a new rank. This is what I was just talking about. So I have to go through those boring levels. This is why I'm using this build, because I can just walk and dodge and they would die. But when I go to the harder things, I would be using builds that of course have more survivability and more damage than this. And this is still giving me 4900 wood quality because it's rank 28 invasion. That means 2800 wood quality just from the ranks. Every rank gives you 100 wood quality. And as far as I know, there is no limit of the ranks as long as you can push it. And some ranks you're not gonna be able to push unless you have a teammate with you. Sometimes just one more person makes a difference. Especially if it's a map modifier that is countering your build. Like modifiers that reduce player cooldowns, modifiers that permanently decrease your armor or permanently decrease your HP. Those are just not fun. I mean, the cooldown one I can live with. The cooldown one I can just try and make a different build that doesn't use that many cooldowns and just survive. But when you're losing your armor permanently to a point where you basically get one shot by every single hit, it just doesn't feel right. The same goes for when you're losing HP until you have like 30-40,000 HP from 300-400,000 HP. Legendary ranks, again, they don't have a limit. I think they should put a limit to those and maybe make it a bit easier to get those leveled up. And those should be account bound, account spread. At the moment, it's not like Diablo Paragons. Legendary ranks are separate for each hero. So here I have 128 levels after level 50. On another character I would have 100, on another I would have 140, and so on. So it's boring that those are separate for each character, instead of you being able to kind of have universal legendary rank. But I know why they did it like this. I know why they did it like this, because it's probably easier to separate the location, the point allocation of the ranks. But Diablo has a separate allocation of the ranks and paragons that are account bound, so it's not like it's not doable. Okay, the enemies are invulnerable when they're on low HP on this map. Yeah. So the game does have a lot of potential, but it needs a lot of changes, a lot of reworks to be done before it can appeal to the masses. And I'm not sure whether it's not too late for this game to fix. It might be too late because many people already know bad things about the game, but there's always time for redemption, and word of mouth can help spread it if the game becomes better and more appealing to the masses. I mean, I enjoy returning when there's updates, and since next week we're getting a new character, I will be spending some time in the game, figuring out builds and uploading build videos for the Dwarven Engineer. And the Warhammer universe is vast. There's so many classes, there's so much material to get inspiration from, so much source material to get ideas for new classes, for new skills and things like that. So the potential is not unlimited, but the limit is pretty high of how many classes and heroes they can add as playable characters. And the variety of abilities and builds and things, if they balance it well, would be amazing. At the moment, most classes have just a few abilities that are viable, the rest people never use. I can show you the abilities I never use on this character. This one, I never use it. This one, I never use it. This one, I used to use it, then they nerfed it and I never use it now. This one, I never use it. So you can see out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of 9 advanced skills, I'm not using 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 9. That's almost half of the skills the character has that I'm never using for high-end endgame content, for the hardest endgame content. I mean, I could use them, but it's gonna be far from effective. I could use it on content like this one. Content like this one, I could see used for those things. Because it won't matter what skill you're using on this content. But yeah, definitely a lot of things need rebalancing, and every character, not just this one. On the dwarf, I told you most meta builds on the dwarf revolve around 3 specific skills. 4, let's say 4, but some are not using the 4th skill. The rest is just either fillers or skills that you won't want to be using for high level content on the dwarf. Speaking of the dwarf, I'm gonna do one more map on the ranger and then go back to the dwarf. And the soldier is not in a better state either. It also has 2, 3, 4 skills that people probably never touch in their builds. Thankfully the soldier has more utility, so most of his skills can see some use in different builds. So he has less damaging skills, more utility, damage reduction, etc. skills, banners and so on. Okay, I'm gonna be doing my regular routine. My regular routine is just doing brambles, dodging inside those brambles. That means I'm doing poison with the brambles and I'm dodging, leaving a poison trail. And while I'm moving, I'm also poisoning. So it's like stacking the poison. And the brambles can stack a ton of poison. If you do multiple instances of this, they just keep poisoning, and they keep stacking the damage. Of course you need energy as well, so it's not something you can spam endlessly. But there's ways to get energy. I love this skill. This skill pierces and every hit regenerates my energy. This is my favorite energy regeneration skill. For the lower difficulties, some might prefer this thing that can ricochet or even this crippling blade. You can see this one now. I'm gonna try and show you how it ricochets, but something that I don't want to show. And people have been complaining about the voice lines of this character. I've never noticed anything wrong about her voice lines. It's not like the elf in what's its name, in Vermintide, that people were complaining about her bitching and all of that. It's not, but I did love the elf in Vermintide and all her annoying character and the voice lines she had. But in Vermintide the characters did talk to each other. So when you're playing with someone that's using another character, you would see the characters having dialogues every now and then in Vermintide. Which was quite nice to see. Okay, this is finished. Let's leave the area. Let's go on the dwarf now. Do some jumpy jump. And this game, Dead Chiefs, this game is Warhammer Chaosbane. Warhammer Chaosbane, it's as I said, set in the Warhammer Age of Sigmar fantasy setting. I think, is it Age of Sigmar? I'm not the War Master. I don't really know that much about the different versions of Warhammer, but I think it's just let's call it the Warhammer Fantasy Universe, the more broad name used. So let me actually show you something. Let me show you the new hero that's coming next week. I did show you some images of her, but you can see her here, and it's free content. So this is Kiwa. This is Kiwa, and as I showed you some images earlier, what Kiwa looks like is this. So pistols, something like a hammer, and she's close to mid-range fighter. I'm not sure where I saved the Twitter messages. I think I know where I saved them. There we go. This is... So Kiwa's archetype ability is the hit gouge. Every attack raises your gouge. Using the ability in any direction releases steam, damaging enemies and reducing the gouge. If your hit gouge reaches 100, it will cause a big explosion, damaging enemies around her. This is also about the lesser being changed and what else? So this is the images I was showing you. I can try and show you the trailer, but let's try and show you the trailer quickly. If you've not watched the trailer, I can show it to you. Just a second. I'm gonna add VOC video source. Kiwa. Okay. Add file. Just a second. Not sure where I saved it. I saved it somewhere. But should be here somewhere in my Warhammer folder. I've got so much shit, it's hard to find the thing I need. There we go. I see it. So I need to go to Warhammer and that's it.
While
So
Nuln is in the grip of despair and Magnus fights for his life, many are trying to seize whatever little power they can within the troubled kingdom. Although the battle attracting all the attention is around the throne, it's in the darker corners our new enemy lurks. In the forges of Nuln, the fight has only just begun.
So she's gonna be fighting beastmen, minotaurs, beastmen. And this game is already out, but the patch is coming next week. My guess is early in the week, probably middle of the week. So I'm hoping for Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday. It's gonna be super bad move if they release the patch. If they release the patch on Friday, because on Friday Path of Exile and Diablo are getting new leak and season. So the worst timing would be to release it then. Just putting it out there. If they end up watching this stream, she's already ready for release. For Alessa, they're changing their voice lines, her voice lines. So I'm just gonna give you the screenshot again, so you can see what was said about Alessa. So for Alessa, was that it? This one. As part of the Forges update, we're going to be updating Alessa's in-battle voiceover in response to player feedback. I never disliked that voiceover, but I guess there's people who didn't like it. And this is a nice art for Alessa, by the way. Alright, so let's play a bit of Bragi. Let's be a bit braggadocious with Bragi. I got this Heartseeker earlier. Just wanna check if I've got a better one. Armor piercing cooldown damage. Armor piercing cooldown damage. 12, 9.1, 11, 10, no HP. Yeah, I'm gonna sell this shit. So what am I doing with this guy? Damn, I've only got difficult stuff left to do with him, so it's gonna be painful. Regardless what I pick, this is rank 37 and look at that, enemy damage 180%, 164 HP, but the wood quality. Critical hit chance for all players reduced. This means bad news for me, because I'm playing a crit setup for farming. I'm just gonna be killing enemies on the way, skipping the elites and just doing the boss. I'm gonna try and speedrun this. Maybe I can do this enemy. There are certain things I like doing on this mode. On this mode I like changing my passives. Not passives, but my god skills. I like using Blood of the Mountain instead of this. I know I'm sacrificing my heroic skill, but it's giving me more survivability. And this gives me extra health regeneration. Super nice thing to have. Did I kill enough enemies? Oh yes, I did. That means I can go and kill the creature now. The cooldown is big though on this kill. This is only Chaos 3, but it's rank 37, so it's not super easy, but it's not super difficult either. Okay, I've done this. So I'm not using my heroic skill here, so I'm sacrificing a ton of damage, but I'm getting this health regeneration. You can see with enough health regeneration my HP doesn't go down, and with this one I'm even healing up a lot more. Borderlands is releasing on Steam on Friday. Lots of Epic boycott people have been waiting for that as well. Yeah, I can tell you that for sure. It's been a while. It's been a while. I need to go back into Borderlands soon, but I really don't like the drop rates, and more not the drop rates but the RNG-ness. The RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG. Having to get that one item with the perfect rose at the bottom, then with the perfect anointment and all of that. But I really need to get back into the game, do some more content for it. I just never have felt the past few months the desire to go back into the game, knowing that I can play some other games that give me much more fun and reward my time spent better. But okay, oh, not this, not this. Let's just check something. I wanna sell some stuff because my inventory is kind of full. By the way, if anyone needs gear for this game, if you're playing this game and you need items, like 90% of that thing here, that's 100 items, 90% of those I can give you. I don't need them. So this is a ton of green items that I don't need, that I can give away to people who are playing the game. So if you're having troubles collecting a set and you want that one piece, it may not be meta, it may not be the best equipment ever, but at least it's gonna complete the set that you might be having difficulties completing. So keep that in mind. So let me just check if there's something I can sell. This one. Why am I keeping this? This is with HP cost reduction, counter attack resistance. HP cost reduction, counter attack resistance. That one has more HP, more resistance, more armor, less cost reduction, more counter attack damage. Less counter attack damage. What's my passives? I want to see what passives I'm using here. Okay, it's that setup. The more crit damage setup, less cooldown. I'm gonna sell this. I mean, let's do the next map. Permanently reducing my HP. Oh no. Pool of blood, exploding enemies. We can do that. Epic and Steam players being able to play together. That's kind of. I don't think we would be, but it would be nice if we can play together. It would be nice if we can play together for real. Because if they're just using Steam as a client, as a launcher, and it's the same servers, then I don't see a reason why not. If Steam is just a launcher. And I hope that they made it like this. Regardless whether you're launching from Epic or from Steam, to be connecting to the same servers. That would be the best way to do it. Exploding enemies. By the way, there's one problem with this game's performance, and this is when there's exploding enemies. I think the explosions are using some super high resolution animation, or some animation that's not optimized. something's wrong with the animation that was used for the exploding enemies, and when there's more explosions happening at the same time, you could see some FPS drops. Like you can see from 80, 90 frames per second going down to 40, 38 frames per second. So yeah, they really need to figure out a way to remove that that FPS drop. And sometimes if you're speedrunning something and just enemies are getting one shot just by you walking around them and then they're exploding, you might end up getting a ton of whack. Like they might be on the other end of the map and just walking into my flames and still exploding and triggering those whacks. This is the only case in this game where I would have FPS drops with the exploding enemies map modifier in known. Sacrificial pendant. Well, not one of the good ones, but at least it's still a green item. Okay, let's leave the area. We're done with the boss. Same here, I liked Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, even though the farming in Borderlands 1 and 2 was a bit more difficult. I don't know, I kind of liked some things about Borderlands 1 and 2 more than Borderlands 3. It seems like they made Borderlands 3 a bit more complicated when it comes to getting a min-maxed item. And I love the story, I mean I enjoy doing the different story stuff. But eventually it gets a bit boring when I have to do the story every time on the different modes with every new character. It's so boring having to do the story 2 times on 4 heroes. That's 8 times of just completing the story, just going through the same things over and over and over. I mean, I know I can download heroes online and put them in my save folder and just upload them to the cloud, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to do things like that. What did I get? Pendant, sacrificial pendant. Which one though? I mean, let's keep the better one, get rid of the crappy one. And I got something else, but I'm not sure what. Some yellow item. Okay. So that's gonna be the difficult ones to do. Invasions also don't have the enemies from... Let's show you some relic hunts. Let's do some Chaos 5 relic hunts. Chaos 5 is perfect for farming. Just to show you some... what's its name? Tomb Kings maps. I'm gonna roll a few times to get the Tomb Kings map. Because Tomb Kings maps are nice, but you can't get those in invasions. You can only get those in relic hunts. Tomb Kings, there we go. You leveled your characters with multiplayer? Are you talking about Borderlands? Because I was talking about Borderlands. Having to do the story in 2 difficulties, in the regular Vault Hunter and the True Vault Hunter mode, and then having to do it with 4 characters. It's just, I still haven't leveled. I still haven't finished the story on all my heroes. On all difficulties. I did get some power leveling from friends in the endgame modes, but some of my True Vault Hunter stories have not been completed yet on some of my characters in Borderlands. No, not about Chaosbane. Chaosbane is fine. You just have to do the story once. It takes 3, 4, 5 hours if you're fast, so that's not bad. I mean, I just need to do the story once and that's it. And I don't even need to do the main story. I can just do the Tomb Kings story and then get some power leveling from someone else. It's not that bad. But yeah, this game has vocal co-op, or how do I say it? Hot seat co-op. So you can play with multiple people in the same computer, up to 4 people on the same computer. So if you have 3 controllers and a keyboard, you can have 4 people playing on the same PC. So if you have a brother, a mother, a father, a grandmother, a grandfather, a girlfriend, wife, etc. that wants to play with you, you can get those to play with you. If you have kids that want to play this game with you, you can get them to play it on the same PC with you. And on console you have that as well. On one TV you can play with multiple people. So that's something that this game has that others don't. One of the things that makes this game stand out might be this, if you want that type of experience. Multiple people playing on the same machine. Of course you're gonna be using the saves that are on this machine. So if you want to play with someone else but you have your own account and your own saves, you might want to bring your own saves and copy them over. And yeah, if you want to be doing speed farming at the start, probably Chaos 5 is fine until you start doing invasions. Chaos 5 is good wood quality and not bad speed of clearing. So this is 4900 wood quality that I've got with this buff and with this amulet giving me 300. It's not bad. As I said, anything over 3000 wood quality is nice. Of course the higher the better. But I've gotten green items on 2100 wood quality as well, so of course sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. But Chaos 5 seems to be the most optimal for farming for green items. If you've got full red set and maybe a little bit of greens. If you can handle Chaos 5, I think that's the best one to farm. And I forgot to show you boss rushes. Boss rushes are basically the bosses at the end of each act. If you don't want me to spoil it for you, I'm not gonna show you. But after this map I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a boss rush map. Just so I can show you how you can do some boss fights. So relic hunt at the end, make sure to open the chest at the end of a relic rush before going to the town. Now let's show you a boss rush. There's also expeditions which no one does because there's no point in doing those. But if you can't handle relic hunts or don't have money for it, so let's do Word of Change maybe. Oh no, I did Chaos 5. I probably shouldn't have done Chaos 5. Yeah, Chaos 5, I shouldn't have done Chaos 5. Just let's give up and change to... I wanna just do something easy and quick. Cause I don't wanna get one shot. There's mechanics. This boss can one shot you close range after doing a teleport. So you wanna wait a few seconds after it changes vocations and teleports. Then you wanna initiate the fight. But boss rushes are no longer as rewarding as they used to be before. There used to be a time where I would be farming boss rushes. So you're not gonna see much of the mechanics, and I don't want to spoil the mechanics. I'm gonna try and kill it quicker than it can show you its mechanics. So I didn't spoil enough. I didn't spoil much, but yeah, you have bosses that are like difficult bosses, and you can do them on any difficulty setting you want, up to Chaos 8. For challenge if you want, and for some wood. And you can get some gold, you can get some fragments, so I'm gonna show you another one, but I'm not gonna show you more, just those two. This one is probably the best to farm because it doesn't have invulnerability phases. It has a phase where it's healing, but you can just kind of kill it super quick. This is the phase where it's healing, but if you do enough damage you don't even need to destroy the things that give him healing. You're one of those that refused to buy it on Epic Store. Okay, okay. Fair enough, fair enough. So let's do a little bit more Chaos 5 Grand Relic Hunts, just to show you something different than invasions. You can see this gives you one modifier, this gives you two modifiers, but double the wood quality. This gives you three modifiers, triple the wood quality bonus you can get. And you can re-roll it. If you don't like the modifiers, you can reset them and try again and pay some more gold. Let's give my pet some hooks in the meantime. It's kind of difficult because my headset is plugged in and the cable is not allowing me, but I can do it now. He was earlier, my pet was sleeping under the duvet. When I started streaming last epoch earlier today, he kind of snuggled under the duvet on my bed and just stood there in the dark and warm for a while. I mean, I saw that he was trying to go under it, so I made it like a cave, like a burrow that he can go inside. Sometimes he likes to stay in dark places and stay there like as a furbo. But he's not doing that right now. Now he's sleeping on. I have a pillow that I don't use, and I just put a blanket on that pillow, and he uses it as a bed. It's a big pillow, big human pillow for sleeping. But he's now on a diet. Sky is on a diet because he's so fat he can't lick his ass after going to the toilet. I mean, he's not super overweight, but he's still kind of a bit fat on the chubby side, so he needs to kind of lose some weight. But sterilized animals do tend to want to eat more than they should, and do tend to gain weight a bit easier than non-sterilized. And since he's not an outdoor cat, he's indoor cat, he doesn't have much fitness, he doesn't have much exercise to do. This is what I like doing when rushing. So I'm using this to make this consume no energy for a few seconds. You can see I'm using number 1, and then my number 3 doesn't consume energy. Well, any skill doesn't consume energy while Ancestor's Gift is active. This is why I love doing the story on Bragi, because I can speed through the content easily. My fastest so far playthrough was on Bragi for 3.5 hours, I think, back in the summer. Of the main story, not the new story, but the main story. So not Tomb Kings, but the Magnus's Gift story. He has one of the most underwhelming abilities. One of the most underwhelming archetype abilities. Everyone has an archetype ability. His one is this chain. Throw a chain tax into the ground and rush towards it. So it is good that I can use it to do something like this. Like this. Or like this. Come on. It's a bit bad angle here, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna show it. Come on. I know you can do it, Bragi. There we go, he did it. With the chain. Kind of lost a lot of time, but I wanted to show how he can use the chains to skip through some stuff. But kind of an underwhelming archetype ability. I think most archetype abilities are actually underwhelming. Alessa's one is nice, because it's a dodge roll. The mage's one, kind of so-so. This one super bad, because you only use it to move around. So you can't use it to do some damage. You can slow enemies, I think, with it, but that's kind of it. And with Conrad it's nice. Conrad actually has some builds that can buff that ability, that shield attack that he's doing. So the shield smash on Conrad can be boosted with some items, and it can be implemented, especially in my Pistolier build. I was using that because the Pistolier set makes it stronger. So we'll see whether the update would be tomorrow, the day after it, or later in the next week. But we know it will be in the next week. Mountain Pendant. Let's see if it's a good one. I'm currently looking for a very good Mountain Pendant. And I'm also looking for a good Fiery Ring of Tori for this guy. What level we start getting the passive skills? You can see actually if you do you mean the god skills? These skills? Those god skills, I can't remember what level we start getting those. In the favor points. If you mean the actual passives over here, you can scroll down and it tells you the level required. So this is level 5, this is level 14. So level 10, level 20, 25, 32. So you see every few levels you would be unlocking something. So the first passive is at 5, then you get one at 10, then you get one at 14, then you get one at 20, then you get 21, 24, 29, 25. So you can see the required level when you scroll down. It says it. Skill points required level. The same way this is level 2, level 9, level 19, 3, 11, 21, 4, 13. And make sure to go to fan skills and equip this while leveling. So click on fan skills and equip anything you can. It's gonna help you, especially the XP one. Where was the XP one? I think there was an XP one somewhere here. Oh, also, scroll all the way to the bottom, and if you have this unlocked, use it. This is the first one you're gonna unlock in the Collector's Guild. As soon as this is unlocked, use it. Hey Glitch Bomb. Glitch Bomb, I'm not sure what you're looking for in a game. Whether this game is worth it or not depends what you want out of it. If you think of it as a single player game, and if you just wanna do a little bit of casual grinding every now and then, you might enjoy it. Because it has a very low population of people playing it, so you're not gonna be able to play it massively with a lot of people. Most of the time you're probably gonna be playing it solo. So just giving you a heads up if you decide to get it. And the itemization is pretty limited. Every character has 4 sets. Each of those 4 sets gives you a heroic version of a certain skill or a certain passive skill. And you kind of have to make a build centered around this. Most classes don't have very good balancing, so some skills never see use in the late end game. You can use probably almost every skill in the early end game, but later on you're gonna see how some skills are just not gonna cut it for the best content. So very badly balanced right now. It's getting an update next week with a new free character class. So maybe they would have done some balancing and some bug fixing and things like that. I mean, the game can offer you some hours of fun. It can offer you tens of hours of fun, maybe over 100 of hours of fun, depending on how quickly you get burned out and how many of the characters you want to play. It's super easy to get to max level. After that, you're earning something like Paragon levels, legendary ranks, which is not really necessary, but it's good to have them for some of the harder content. But in the end, the game becomes very repetitive because of lack of variety, of lack of randomization when you're doing certain things. They've been improving some of the variety of maps you can do, some of the variety of enemies you fight has been getting improved, but I think the whole system of invasions needs a rework, a very heavy, serious rework. At the moment, invasions feel kind of boring once you've done a few days of farming invasions, maybe a couple of weeks of farming invasions. We're gonna see how boring it gets. Endgame multiplayer, well, this game has endgame, but as I said, the player base is super small. You're not gonna be doing multiplayer in this game. Maybe around updates, like the update from next week, you're gonna be doing multiplayer, but 2-3 weeks after each update, there's gonna be less and less people playing it, so I think it's super hard to find people to play with. I mean, I can leave my game open. Let's do it. Let's do online game, open private game, make game public, free roam. So now people can join my game if they are playing. Let's see if someone would join. I mean, I can help people when I'm playing the game, but I can't play this game for that much time. Next week I'm gonna be playing a lot of it, maybe the week afterwards too, because I wanna make build videos for every set of the new hero. I wanna level up the new hero to level 50, which shouldn't take me too long, it should be fast. And after leveling up the new hero, I wanna figure out different builds with her and make build videos for YouTube. It's not a very popular game, so there's not many people making stuff for it, but I like making stuff for the game because I do enjoy testing the new stuff when it gets added into the game. Can't wait to see if there's any other things besides a new hero that they're adding. And JJFX says, "Hey Struck, been getting back into this while I wait for the new Diablo 3 season. Would you say that a full green set is required for taking the bosses at Chaos 5? No, you don't need a full green set. I would strongly suggest getting a weapon. If not a weapon, at least get gloves. Something that gives you a bit more damage, just to make things go smoothly. At Chaos 5 you definitely don't need a full green set, just letting you know about this. Ancestor's Ring. If you need green items, I can give you the green items. If you don't want to farm the items yourself, now is your chance to let me know, as I've got another like 15 minutes left of my stream for tonight. So I can give you some gear. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna let you do some farming on higher difficulties. But you definitely need full red sets, and you can mix and match green and red. You can see, I'm gonna show you. Let me see if I've got something red here. So which set is this? Grimnir. Okay, let's go for Grimnir. So you can see 5 out of 5 pieces. If I do it like this, just a second, if I do it like this, I'm still 5 out of 5 pieces. So it's like Diablo 3 ancient items. Instead, the ancient is not the red but the green one. So green one is just a stronger version of the red, and you can mix and match green and red. So it still gives me 5 out of 5 Grimnir Herald. Just yeah, keep that in mind. But I strongly suggest using a grudge holder, and also JJFX. I have a lot of builds online, so if you're having troubles with figuring out what to build into, what to spec into, you might want to watch my videos for some suggestions. It's not like use this is the only thing that works, but at one point you're gonna meet a wall. If you're not using kind of a decent build, at one point you're not gonna be able to progress. I try to show people builds that can do some of the endgame content, preferably at least be able to do Chaos 7 if not Chaos 8 on relic hunts. When it comes to invasions, there are certain things that need to be modified, but not that many. Okay, let's trade some stuff. And I got a ring. I got an Ancestor's Ring. Armor piercing, crit chance, damage over time. No, I don't need this. Inquisitor Martyr is not really better in my opinion. I mean, it depends. It depends on what a person is looking for. When I play mage in Inquisitor Martyr, it makes me wanna instantly go and uninstall the game, because they did mages so badly that it makes me wanna puke when I'm playing a mage in Inquisitor Martyr. How someone can do mages so terribly wrong. Also, I can see a level 9 being at the top of the leaderboards of Inquisitor Martyr, because Inquisitor Martyr, like this game, can have cheating, trainers, cheat tables, cheat engines, or whatever you wanna use for cheating. So I can see cheaters in the leaderboards in Inquisitor Martyr. This game at least doesn't have leaderboards, so you're not competing with others. But I mean, it's different. Inquisitor Martyr, even after the update of the combat system, still makes me feel super bad when I play it. Even after they updated melee combat and combat in general. I guess it's up to a personal perspective and what one is looking for in a game. And it also has kind of not the best itemization, but the itemization is better than this game in Inquisitor Martyr, I think. Because this game is very limiting. Collect this set and then you're done. 5 pieces, 5 choices already eliminated from the player by having to collect this set or that set, on each character having 4 different sets. But as I said, look at my stash. My stash is amazing. give it a lick. Yeah, so if you want some of those items, I think 90%, maybe 95% of those items I don't need. So that's 100 items in the stash. I've been saving them to give them away to viewers or to other people I end up teaming up with. So if you need a certain item that you still can't get for a set, just let me know. I can try and give it anytime I'm not busy with something else. Even got some of the farming amulets as red and so on. And I'm glad that you think so about my guides. You're a pesky console player, okay? Yeah, there is no end game, no end game, not end game, no crossplay. There is no crossplay in this game. And glitch bomb, at least if you wanna be doing multiplayer, probably Inquisitor Martyr is the better choice. That was for glitch bomb saying that Inquisitor Martyr is probably better. Probably if you're going for that multiplayer experience, this one may not be the best choice. Cooldown reduction but no crit chance, no crit damage, but flat damage. Difficult. I'm still gonna keep this mountain pendant because it's my only mountain pendant with cooldown, but no crit chance kind of messes with me. But that flat damage. Let's play with my other build for a bit. Let's show you the other build I play. Well, you're comparing Warhammer Fantasy with Warhammer 40k though. Yeah, they're Warhammer titles, but one of them is Warhammer Sci-Fi, Warhammer 40k. The other one is Warhammer kind of Age of Sigmar or whatever this age is called. So they're kind of both Warhammer titles, but different types of Warhammer. Because you know, there's two different Warhammer universes. And by the way, they're making a series for the Warhammer 40k. This is the other build, that's more of a pushy build. Although at the moment I don't think it's set up for pushing. So this one doesn't have all that fire aura. For the chance of spawning an elite, they might be worth it, but I use them for the wood quality rather than the chance of spawning. When I'm doing crit builds for farming, I do use those. You can see I'm loving this in this game. I can kill the enemies after killing the boss to unlock the chest. So I don't have to kill enemies before reaching the boss. The boss is spawned the moment I go into the map. I still have to kill enemies and the boss before I can open the relic chest and finish the map. And also keep in mind, Act 5 cannot spawn champions, cannot spawn wood champions. Only Act 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if you're doing Tomb Kings, you're not gonna be able to spawn that. And to the other people who wanna see the other acts, towns, you have Act 1 being this. Act 4 is also in the same place, so Act 1 and Act 4 are taking place in Nuln. But Act 4 is kind of, without spoiling too much, different kind of thing going on here. So this is your first town, the starting town. Towns here are kind of like limited. I mean, you have one NPC that you do all your business with. You have some story NPCs here in different parts of the town. Like this guy here gives us quests, although he's not here right now because I've completed the story. And Act 2 is in Prague, in Kislev. This is the Act 2 biome. So I'm gonna do one more map, one more invasion, just wanna show you the differences. So this is this town, this environment, and then there's Norska, the frozen forest of knives, which is kind of an icy kind of biome. So let's do quickly one more map, just one more relic hunt for everyone out there, and then that's gonna be it afterwards for today. So you can see this Bragi setup is very similar to the other one. As I said, some skills are just not that good. Like the spin to win build here on this game is not a viable build for the late end game. Maybe you can use it for the early end game. I mean, I've used spin to win setups for Chaos 5 and Chaos 6. When it comes to Chaos 7, Chaos 8 or high invasions, I just can't make a spin to win be viable. And this is perfect, as I said, this M and K after the numbers. I want something like this in WoWs, and it would make reading the damage much easier. So this zone doesn't have a minimap. Sometimes you can get this modifier when doing invasions or expeditions or relic hunts. No minimap, so it's a bit... It takes a while to find out certain things, but if you know the map layouts, after playing a while you learn them and you know which way to go most of the times. I'm going to a dead end, which would kind of whoop me back. If I go this way, it's gonna whoop me back. Let's open that chest. And okay, there's the boss. Nice. So it wasn't actually the dead end. Perfect. Better than I expected. I expected I would have to go back. So it's a nice layout this time. Much better than I expected. Didn't expect to find the boss that easy. But this guy has, if someone is playing this guy, I can tell you one of the best things you can get for your passives. It's currently the strongest way of building this guy, and it's a passive that gives you crit damage based on counter attack damage. So if you have the god skills, If you have the second god skills, you want this thing. Fighting Spirit Mastered. Critical hit damage is increased based on counter attack damage. And if you combine this with this item, Grudge Holder gives you up to 10,000 counter attack damage when you get your rage maxed out. When you max out the rage, that's up to 500. So you can see it's 500 per stack of rage, and you can get 20 rage stacks. At the moment my counter attack is not that much, but it is 27,000. So with 27,000 I'm getting 697 crit damage. I'm actually not even using a skill here, so this setup is not complete. Must have removed something. Oh, this was a weird setup. Why do I even have second wind? Oh yeah, because I went for the cooldown reduction on this setup. So for this, sometimes I use that one because it gives me extra 10% counter attack damage. And now I have 29. And the crit went from 600 something to 725. There's also options. Instead of the crit chance for farming, I could use the potion that gives me counter attack damage for 4 seconds. Where was it? 50% counter attack damage for 4 seconds when using the potion. Definitely a nice one. And yeah, as I said, the grid setter gives you another up to 10,000. It's not 500, it's 500 per rage stack. They need to reward this better, but definitely a nice axe. So this together with that passive is a great combo. And you only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 points to reach it. Once you get this, it's very nice to try and get this as soon as you can with the next 3 points. Of course, you can start with the easy one. You can start with the first fighting spirit and use it until you can get this one, or until you can get this one. And I strongly suggest not taking this or this unless you have a ton of cooldown reduction from your items. But this one is nice. See, 16 counter attack damage, 16% counter attack damage, super nice. But this 50, and this skill is also something I strongly suggest using on Bragi. But that's kind of it. Enough for today, more tomorrow. Not sure whether it's gonna be Chaosbane, Vast Epoch, or Wosen, or Borderlands. Whatever it will be, there will be something tomorrow. Keep it cool, thanks for watching and tuning in. Until next time, and goodbye from me.